specifically with the Nigerian breweries.
Yeah.
You want to talk about some of what about this project? Give us more details.
Oh, sure. Always excited to talk about our projects. So talk about Nigerian breweries is a very valued client of ours. We've had a good relationship with Nigerian breweries for at least 5 years now.
Okay.
We do a lot of work with them. We started out with initially what I would consider a smaller project for Ibadan breweries. So it was a 663 kilowatt PV only. When I say PV only, just solar panels only, no batteries for the Ibadan breweries. So think of that as a pilot that we did with them, and that project ran for about 2 years plus. And then we have now agreed with them to extend, or more like expand that project from 663 thereabouts to 3,000 kilowatts. That's 3 megawatts.
Okay.
So, and in addition to expanding to 3 megawatts, we basically also added battery capacity of about 2 megawatts.
That's what you have done now. Okay.
So then the second project is Nigerian Breweries Ama Brewery at 9th Mile in Enugu.
Okay.
So that one, we're basically straight out building a 4 megawatt, that's 4,000 kilowatt PV ground mounted solar axis tracking system with battery capacity of about 2 megawatt hours. So those are really huge systems, very unique, especially the one in Ama. Yeah.
You know what I want you to do for us? Simplify this more. I mean, someone listening now, what is this saying? It's
okay.
So simplify it a little bit. For example, the Ibadan breweries now, the system that has been installed there, what does it power?
Okay, so let me actually take it back to say how you would see it in home. So if you go to the average barber shop, right, that small gen set is probably what, 1 kilowatt?
1 kilowatt.
Let's call it 1 kilowatt. If you go and you see 1 kVA, let's assume today that 1 kVA, for sake of argument, is 1 kilowatt. So when we say we're doing a 4 megawatt system, 1 megawatt is 1,000 kilowatts. So basically, when you say 1 kilowatt, we're now saying like 4,000 of that to basically get us to. So imagine 4,000 of that Baba gen sets if one of it is 1 kilowatt.
Okay.
That's the scale. So imagine a company as huge as Nigerian Breweries powering very huge equipment that they used to make beer, bottle brands, and so on. That's really the scale of what we're powering there. So if we take Nigerian Breweries Ama, the one in Enugu, we're doing a ground-mounted system. So it means the panels are not on the roof; they are mounted on the ground. And the space required to do what we're doing is the equivalent of our 8.5 football field, standard football field.
Wow.
That's the size of what we're doing.
So now this system powers, is it everything at the breweries?
Literally. So it gives them the equivalent of somewhere in the region of about 25% of their power. So they use a lot of power.
So this gives them about 25%.
Yeah. So this is part of the transition that they are making to total energy coming from renewables. So this is one of the first steps, and then there will be more things you'll be hearing about.
But this will be expensive. I mean, the average business person listening to this now, this is sounding so expensive. What do you say to that, and what's the best approach to the cost of having this?
So I think when we say something is expensive, we probably need to take a step back and look at costs from two standpoints.
Okay.
So there is cost that you pay initially as the initial cost of purchase, and then there is the cost you incur over the whole life of the asset you're buying, which will cause the total cost of ownership. So sometimes we can look at things and we go and buy something because it's cheap, but then when you be maintaining it and paying for the fuel, you're like, oh my God, this is so expensive, right? But really, there are things you buy, it might cost you quite a bit initially, but then the maintenance is really low. And in the grand scheme of things, the maintenance cost, the O&M cost, is the real cost in operating assets. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. And then the second thing from a cost standpoint is that there is no cost to this client, because CrossBoundary Energy finances all of the asset.
Oh, okay.
So we pay for everything, we own the asset, we operate it, and what's most important is that when you're paying a tariff, we literally still give you a discount, so it will be cheaper than anything you were paying for power. Okay,
wait. So you have mounted this in their, is it their vicinity, and then it's your asset, but they are paying to use. They are paying CrossBoundary to use it. How does it work?
So if you think about the way you have the grid today, a lot of things have been installed, poles, wires, transformers. None of them are yours. Some of them might even sit within your premises, but you still need to pay a tariff for the service they are rendering.
Okay.
So that's literally what we're kind of doing. We're rendering a service, so you're paying for energy as a service, but you're not buying the equipment that comes with it. We do all that work.
Do they get to own it one day?
They could if they wanted. So that option is always there. So to be honest, when we deal with a client, there are usually 3 options. We typically would sell a contract for a time period. So at the end of the time period, you either have the option to continue with us, so renew the contract. You have the option to say, oh, I'm done, I really liked you, but okay, we can part ways now. Or the third option, oh, I would like to buy this off you, or I'd like to take on ownership. At that point, is super minimal, whatever they might need to put on to take it off.
Amazing. Nice. Does this sound like something, I mean, if you're listening to this, does it sound like something you would want? I mean, you don't have to bear the burden of all of this cost, but you just have to pay some tariffs to use it. Lagos, I want you to call me. If you're listening to this, please join the conversation. Call me on 0700 993 993 993. I would love to hear from you. What do you think about this, and how will it serve your own business? If just in case you're thinking around this area, if Nigerian breweries can be doing it as big as they are, then I mean, some of us that run way smaller businesses, probably run factories, and the rest of them that are way smaller than Nigerian breweries could benefit largely from this. While we wait for the phone calls to okay, they need to waste time. We have a phone call already. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? Okay, we lost that call. Okay. All right, let me come back to you, Ugo. Now, we understand that this project that's just been announced with the Nigerian breweries, will support local employment of approximately 80 people during the construction phase, and at least 24 of people when the plant is in operation. So what I get from this is there's employment opportunity. So hold on with that question. Let's take this call before proceeding. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me clearly? Something is happening to the phone lines. Okay, we'll come back to that. All right, another call. Okay, hello, good morning. This is Power Solution. Please turn down the volume of your radio set, please.
Yes, hello.
Yes, hello, good morning. This is Power Solutions. Talk to me.
Yeah, the analysis concerning this solar.
Yes, please.
It seems to be so difficult for the common man to understand. And some company cried out that the solar panel that was installed on their roof, thief went there and removed all. So they start announcing if there's any trace they can get those panels. So, and the
question.
To the hello?
Yes, your question, please.
My question now is that how safe is those panel one?
Okay.
And if there is no sun, the inverter or the battery, how will it get power to store? Okay,
thank you so much. Thank you so much. One more question, and then hello, good morning. This is Power Solutions. Talk to me.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your question?
My name is Jeff.
Okay.
From.
Okay, you have 30 seconds. Yeah, go on.
All right. My question is based on the Power Solution that is referring to Lagos or Nigeria. My question is that how much is the power cost? Like, if they are distributing it by individual, how much does it cost monthly? Or how do they distribute the power so we can also know about it?
All right. Thank you so much. So we have 2 questions on one. Now, the solar panel safety of the solar panels on the roof is a concern for one of the callers that called, and then again, how much does this typically cost? For example, what has been done with Nigerian breweries?
Okay, so I'll take the first question, which is
safety.
Safety, right? So when we do projects, if you remember, we said we would install at the client's location. This type of project we call on-site.
On-site.
Yeah, so we would deploy it on-site. Now, within the construct of what we do, the contract, the client usually has the responsibility to provide security because it is their site. They know it better than us. We can't literally come from outside. So what I would say to the caller is that I don't know what the specifics of that location is and how people got access, and maybe there was nobody watching.
So it depends on.
It depends on a lot of things, like people. Yeah.
All right. So
I can't speak to that.
Yeah. The second question on the costs. I mean, I know I was going to get that question on the costs.
Absolutely.
So how much is being paid at the moment for this one with Nigerian breweries?
So when you say the cost, you're referring to the capex, the cost of the project, or the tariff the client has to pay?
I think the tariff
the client has
to pay, because now in this case, CrossBoundary is bearing the costs of putting that on site.
Yes.
But Nigerian breweries is paying a tariff.
Absolutely.
What is that tariff like?
So the thing is that no two projects are the same.
Okay.
So literally, I could talk about one project, but it probably wouldn't totally apply to another project. Maybe what we want to focus on are two things.
Okay.
The first one is that first and most importantly, we need to take this out, that when we do the project, we always aim to deliver savings to the client versus whatever they're currently paying. And when we go into conversations, we aim to deliver up to 30% at least of savings. Now, when we start trying to deliver that savings, the specifics of a lot of other things, which I'll talk about next, can determine what it costs.
All right, good. Because I'm moving a bit fast because of time, but tell us about the job opportunities being created at the moment through this project.
So the thing is that a lot of different skills are required, and I think this is an area that, because of the way the world is moving towards sustainability, green energy jobs and so on, you can see there are a lot of technical training opportunities coming up. I know there's an institution somewhere in Yaba and a few others to train engineers for renewable energy, some of them in battery technologies, some of them also in just like the geoinfo techniques required to basically size projects, figure out yield, and so on. So I think this is something that our people need to keep an eye on. Then there's also the O&M component of people just operating and maintaining this site over the years. Beyond the building, beyond the design, beyond the maintenance, there's a lot more. Even the business development side of it, there's a lot.
Talking about maintenance now, what is maintenance of this facility like?
Okay, so there are a lot of things that could happen. First of all, we offer O&M services, O&M here being operations and maintenance. On the one hand, we do remote surveillance of the asset, so we can monitor it remotely to know how it's working and all that. So we don't always have to be on site, but then we have people go on site to clean the panel. So for example, just dust gathering on the panel can reduce the efficiency and what it delivers. So then other times you have to physically go and check some things and make sure they're working. Then there's also security, also like the lady mentioned. So you have to make sure a lot of things go together.
So just going back to that other question we got. So when we have the rainy seasons, how does CrossBoundary manage this rainy season period? I mean, so that doesn't affect the operations of the breweries.
So what happens is that if you notice, what we tend to build are hybrid systems, but we could also build pure solar systems. Okay. We do a lot of things. First of all, we could have the sizing of the system to capture for times when we expect yield to drop. Okay. Yeah. So in addition, there are systems we build where we incorporate battery, BESS as we call them, to basically shore up power shortfalls during times when there are natural incidences like rain, clouds, dust, whatever. Wow. And then there are a couple of other things that happen in practice also.
Nice. All right, if you're just joining the conversation, this is Power Solutions. Power Solutions is powered by Energy Impact Investment Company with support from your number one talk station, Nigeria Info. And yet, I've been talking to Mr. Nwankwo, who is Senior Business Development Manager at CrossBoundary, and we've been discussing providing cleaner, cheaper, and power to support Nigerian growing business. Yes, that's it. So I have one room for one more caller. Hello, good morning. Please turn on radio set.
Okay, I'm actually using a phone.
All right, thank you so much. Go on. You have 30 seconds.
Just quick one. I just want to ask, can you use electric iron on it like a dry cleaner business?
Okay. All right, thank you. Can you use electric iron on this sort of system?
I like the question because it gives me an opportunity to highlight what we've done in mining. Okay. So when people ask, can solar power this, can solar power that? We've done a project for Rio Tinto, a mining company, one of the biggest in the world. And that project is a huge project. It's a combination of wind of 12 megawatts, solar of 8 megawatts, battery of almost 8 megawatt hours. So we can power anything. It really is it's like your genset. If your genset is big enough, it can power anything. Yes. Solar is just another, think of it as a genset. So I use it in my personal life, in my home. I have, my house is primarily on solar. NEPA is a backup to me. So basically I power my microwave, fridge, freezer, anything, iron, So you just have to be clever about, have you sized your system big enough? Are you using it at the right time? Maybe it's probably smarter to use it when the sun is shining and so on, So yes, the answer is yes, but you have to now make sure that your system is spec'd, like designed and sized appropriately. That's really important.
All right. I mean, it takes away the myth that solar cannot do this. What if it cannot do that? Which I always tell people, it depends on how you've sized the system and from your energy audit,
exactly.
How you've sized. So anyway, so before I let you go, people listening will want to know, what if I'm interested to set this up with CrossBoundary? How do I connect? How do I reach out?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say to you that we are always excited to receive inquiries. We want to do your projects. So if you have a project and opportunity you want to talk to us about, please send an email inquiry to projects@crossboundary.com. We will be waiting to hear from you. And as I leave, I just want to also share, I don't think I mentioned, that earlier this year, we were awarded Solar Company of the Year by FCA, Africa Solar Industry Association.
Congratulations.
Across the continent.
So mention that email again just before we go.
So it's projects@crossboundary.com.
Projects@crossboundary.com. So you can just go on. Okay, project with an S. Projects@crossboundary.com. So send them an email in case you are interested in this and you want to see what can happen for your own business. And it's been an interesting conversation, Ugo. There's always no time when we start these things, and before you know, I mean, the phone lines are buzzing, a lot of questions. But we can't talk to everybody today, so sorry. But you can send your email to projects@crossboundary.com, and Ugo and his team will be able to answer you and give you more insight on that. All right, until next week, we'll come back again for another interesting conversation. My name is Wisdom Chapp-Jumbo, and it's been fun doing this. Ugo, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.